You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya, and this is your NXT Audio Recap for Wednesday, November 29th, 2017. Thank you for listening. NXT this week. Remember last week when I said that this week we'd be back in the swing of things with a normal episode of NXT? Well, I was lying. Instead, we have highlights of the NXT house show in San Antonio from the night before NXT TakeOver, and I guess that means it's a good thing I never bothered to read the results of the house show. So Nigel McGuinness isn't here this week, which means we get more Percy Watson. I would like to point out that at no point do I believe that is a good thing. Christy St. Cloud is handling the ring announcing, and the nicest thing I can say about her is she needs work, but she's really enthusiastic. Opener this week, Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss taking on the Street Profits. These two teams first wrestled 2 weeks ago, which was won by the Profits. They celebrated by partying on top of a car, which angered Sabatelli and Moss, which led to, and I quote, renewed hostilities, and thus this rematch. There looked to be not even 300 people in the crowd, but they were really into this entire show, and they made enough noise for a couple thousand people, and they sure loved themselves, the Street Profits. The heels got the heat on Montez Ford when Sabatelli knocked him off the ring apron and sent him crashing into the guardrails. The crowd exploded for Angelo Dawkins' hot tag, and Dawkins ran wild with his twisting splashes in the corner to both foes. Sabatelli actually had Dawkins pinned with a forearm to the face, but the referee stopped counting when he saw Moss holding down Dawkins' feet for leverage. Ford came back and pinned Sabatelli with a frog splash after the low down. In case you're in the Philadelphia area or traveling to the Philadelphia area, you should know that tickets for NXT TakeOver Philadelphia go on sale this coming Saturday. After defeating Johnny Gargano last week, Pete Dunne was approached by Mustache Mountain backstage, who congratulated him on his victory. Tyler Bate brought up that Dunne allowed Wolfgang to be beaten down by Undisputed Era and challenged him to find a partner for a tag team match playa. We fast-forwarded back today, and Trent Seven enunciated the same thoughts, and Bates said they were a real tag team, unlike Dunn and his partner of the week, Mark Andrews. In another part of the backstage area, Mark Andrews cut a promo about why he agreed to be Dunn's partner. He said that there is an agreement in place that if their team wins, then Andrews will become the number one contender to the UK title. Kairi Sane versus my girl Peyton Royce was next. After the opening salvo, Royce ran the ropes and Sane did a drop down, and then she did another drop down, and then did a third drop down. Just as I was curious as to how long Royce would keep running and jumping over her foe, Royce suddenly stopped and got frustrated. Said frustration did not last long, as Royce knocked down Sane to get the heat. Sane made her comeback and seemed content with caving in Royce's chest with forearms. Sane went up top for the big water maneuver, but Royce sidestepped it and used a running knee for a near fall. Sane made another comeback, knocked an interfering Billy Kay off the ring apron, and then pinned Royce with the insane elbow. Last week, Ruby Riott defeated Sonya Deville in a winner gets an extra letter added to her last name match, but they are coming back, folks. Next week, it is winner and loser leave town as the war between Raw and SmackDown explodes yet again as Sonya and Ruby square off in a match with no holds barred. They finally acknowledged for the first time the injury of Drew McIntyre and stated that he'll be out for an undisclosed length of time. And next week, it is the championship celebration for your new NXT champion, Andrade Cien Almas. And then we got the main event. It was WWE United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews taking on Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven. In case you don't recall, this has been part of the year-long introduction of the UK division. Back in January, all 4 men took part in the 16-man UK title tournament, which was won by Bate. Dunne won the title in my opinion, the best WWE match all year back at TakeOver Chicago, which, by the way, again, go watch that match. And Dunne has since defended that title multiple times. The match started with Bate and Dunne. Bate appeared to get the best of him as it led to a standoff. Dunne reached out to tag Andrews, but before he did, he punched Bate right in the mouth. Andrews tagged in, and we got superb scientific wrestling between the 3 noble baby faces, and that continued to be the story of the match as Andrews and Dunne formed a unlikely team, with Andrews not approving of the rogue, the heelish behavior by Dunne, and Dunne not approving of the clean-cut ways and sportsmanship of his partner. Dunne continued to show why he is a star. He does so many little things. He does so many little creative misdirection spots. And that, along with his skill, his sheer presence, his personality, it all combines to make him not just a standout in the UK division, but in all of NXT and honestly all of WWE. This match, like I said, told a great story from the bell of the Dunne Andrews team just really not getting along, but Andrews trying to overlook it, in his quest for championship glory. Towards the finish, Andrews hit a hurricanrana on Bate, but while Bate was falling, Dunne caught his foe and dropped him with a sit-out powerbomb in one fluid motion, by the way. Bate came back and almost had the champ pinned with a double-team powerbomb, but Andrews broke that up. We had so many near falls, so many kickouts and these were all like every cliched finisher you could think of when you think of a wrestling match. Think of every cliched finish you've seen always ends a match, and they teased them all here. They kicked out of all of them here, and they kept going from here. The finish after all that was nice and simple. Bate, the former champion, pinned Dunne, the current champion, with the Tyler Driver in 97. Andrews was frustrated after the match, but decided to live to fight another day and began walking away, but Dunne laid him out with a blow to the back of the head and then a bitter end. So that does it for this week. It's a throwaway show, but it has an excellent main event, and it set the stage for more excellent matches in the future. Next week, we're back in Full Sail. I'm serious this time. And until then, I want to thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you again in 7 days.